Okay, awesome. So again, thank you everyone for your brief intro. I think we have most of the heads here, so we're ready to go. Again, thank you very much for joining in this session of El Programa Buen Trip. In this case, as you know, we have the privilege to have here Jeremy Rawitz, that's currently in Cuenca, Ecuador, but he's a friend and a mentor and someone who has had a lifelong experience selling and selling consultancy and overall with a lot of experience in startups specifically because he has a great trajectory as the VP of growth of Techstars. So that's some things that's relevant for you guys to know about Jeremy. I'm sure that he will complement with whatever he finds necessary to put you guys in context. So what are we going to do today? Today, Jeremy has prepared a session, more of a sort of a masterclass format, where he's going to be talking a little bit about how to use the sales as a discovery tool, a pain definition tool, something that we think will be very useful for you guys and sales overall. And just so that Jeremy is in, again, complete context now, formally, I'm going to give each one of you the space so that you can, again, define what you're doing. And if you already have a pain in your sales process, just briefly talk about it so that Jeremy can be in context. So, Ronnie, can we start with you?
Thank you, Leo. Hi, Jeremy again. So we've developed a product that we call X Monitoring. It's a convergence between hardware, platform on the cloud, and IoT connectivity. And what we do is we drastically reduce the risk of downtime in critical operation through real-time monitoring of cooling and power equipment. Our the way our go-to-market strategy is through channel partner network. So we partner up with system integrators. These are companies that have been doing business in their specific countries for many years. The main characteristic of these companies is that they have already a well-established customer base. They also have on average 2,000 or 3,000 critical units under SLAs, service contracts, and they already have a service offering. So our monitoring system fits right in with their current service portfolio. And where we're at right now, we've established our pilot in Ecuador, where we have been successful. We have right now over 500 units under a multi-year contract, and it's given us a strong recurring revenue. That is, it still does not cover our operation, but we're getting there. And right now, what we're facing is the expansion challenge, where we've targeted right now two countries, Colombia and Peru. We've already either we have on schedule, or we have already done around 15 demos with different countries, with different companies, I'm sorry. And what we're facing right now is that sales process, because it's a consultant type of business. It's a consultant selling. It's not something that first time you demo, they go right in and they buy it. They need to sign up. So the first part of our process is we send them an NDA, they send it back, then we provide price list and some other information. And right now, what we're having issues is, even though everybody shows, or I would say 9 out of 10 show very strong interest, is actually moving through that sales process, getting everybody to first sign their NDAs and then eventually sign that contract and send that initial purchase order. That initial purchase order has two components. First is the hardware that they need to buy. On average, that would be an initial purchase order between $6,000 and $9,000. On average, each piece of hardware is about $300. So between 20 and 30 units is what we're usually looking at. And then obviously there's the recurring revenue, which comes from the platform itself, the monitoring platform, and the connectivity, which we also take care of. So that's where we are right now. We're seeing a lot of interest, but it's been a challenge getting these partners to sign up and place their initial purchase orders.
Okay, that was a very excellent summary. Really, really interesting. A couple quick questions, because I know that we have a lot of people here. Just what is the average sales cycle now from first meeting to close, timeline?
So to be frank, that's something that we're trying to figure out, because from the first, say from the initial call that we have, we send over the initial documentation. It's taking the companies around a week to sign the initial NDA. Then we provide additional documentation, and that's where we're stuck at right now. They show interest. They mentioned that they want to sign up, that they want to place a purchase order, but something I can't answer because that's something that we're trying to figure out right now.
Okay, so if I summarize, it seems like right now getting that initial NDA signed is a spot where it slows down.
And from there, actually having them send the purchase order or signing
Okay,
the
purchase order.
contract, which
Okay, got it.
which for us, we would say that we have a partner in our network once the initial purchase order is sent in, more than even the contract. The fact that
Okay.
they send in a purchase order and they get activated.
Perfect. So just a little bit more about my background. I spent 4 years as the head of global sales at Techstars.
Okay.
But before that, I was doing sales training for startups. So I'll have a lot of good questions for you. I mentor regularly on this. And as Leo said, it's going to be a bit of a somewhat structured, but need you to ask important questions. Just one question to your channel partners. What do you think is their number one pain that would want them to buy your product?
Lack of differentiation. It's a market where I've been in the industry for over 20 years. It's an industry where both from the hardware side, meaning the UPSs and the air conditioning units, years ago, there used to be a big difference between US or European brands versus Asian brands. Now, the systems are very much alike and it's a price scenario. And it's happening the same in service. Traditional companies or more established system integrators were easily differentiated from each other. Now there's a rising amount of players. So yeah, lack of differentiation.
So we're going to talk a lot about this idea of pain and how to and questioning strategies today, so that we can speed up the process. All right, Leo, let's go on to. Thank you. That was really very interesting.
Thank you.
Okay, super. So I would like now to give the word to Lorena Grundi from BoxUp.
Where did Lorena? Hi, Carmen. Where did Lorena go? Here she is.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, well, we are a B2B fintech SaaS. We have developed a platform that allows banks to increase their return on investment per customer by incorporating business intelligence tools that help banks to clean, organize, and analyze all the transactional data of their customers. So the banks can identify customers and commerce that could be attractive because of the profitability that that commerce or that customer can give to the bank.
Perfect. What did Leo? What else did we? I know I want to know your. So what do you think is? Tell me just briefly about your sales process. Where is it now? Timeline.
Okay. Well, our sales process is a little bit complicated because our customers are banks and mainly traditional banks. So it's not easy to sell to them. Usually it can take us around 4 to 6 months to close a deal with a bank. We are working on that because our goal is to close a deal in 2 months. We have to, since we start the first contact with the bank, we have to go through different meetings with different areas of the bank. Sometimes the tech team, the information security team, the product team. So we have to go to different teams in the bank. Then we have to sign a lot of NDAs and those kind of documents. Usually the contract, which is a little bit standard for us, has to go to the legal department of the bank. So that takes a lot of time as well.
Yeah, of course, always, yeah.
Yeah, in what we are trying to do is in the middle of this legal process, to start with a product testing. So we start receiving data from the bank, so the bank can test our solution, and we can gain some time doing this testing in parallel with all the documentation.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, selling to large enterprises, the decision-making process is difficult. We're not going to focus on that, but really quickly, what do you think their number one pain is and why they would need your product? The biggest pain.
The main pain in our side, in our sales process, or our banks or our clients?
Their personal pain that would say, I need your product.
It's because they don't really understand your customers' preferences and behavior and transactional behavior. They have a lot of data that they currently don't process and don't use to understand the clients and their preference.
All right, we haven't defined pain, but thank you for that. That's beautiful. Let's go to the next one, Leo.
Yep, Carlos Celudelo from Wawa.
Yeah, me. Yeah, so again, we are working to build a better checkout experiences for e-commerce, and essentially to try to reduce fraud, the rate of fraud, and increase the success rate of transactions by doing payment orchestration and adding multiple options for the end customers to actually have like the most success rate in payments for e-commerce. This is essentially a no-code integration that they can plug in, and with that we are like trying to increase the ticket size or the average ticket size in a purchase, and also reduce the cart abandonment for e-commerce. So it's essentially service delivery for goods.
Yes, Darren, you finished? ¿Terminaste? Sí, finished. Sí, okay, gracias, muchas gracias. Sí, mucho gusto. Okay, lo siento. Okay, sorry, we're quiet now.
No worries, no worries. So essentially it's a service delivered to e-commerce businesses that sell physical products now, and we connect to their stores. The current sales cycle, they currently are coming through inbound marketing, and we are doing like some essential qualifications. We run like 1 or 2 interviews to understand like their needs. In some cases, we are seeing interest in some markets, some local markets, like for instance in Colombia. They are closing because they are seeing like some relevance with the cost of transaction that we are processing is a bit cheaper than the competitors. And in other cases, they are coming for like better shopping experience in order to increase the ticket size. The decision making is actually fast. So in some cases, they are like after the first meeting or the first page, they are closing. The thing is that in some cases where the ticket is bigger and bigger, the decision making is a bit long or longer than it should be. But it doesn't take like more than 2 minutes to close. So the moment they come to lead and they decide, it's actually taking about around 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Dos semanas?
Yes, 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and Payne, why do they want to buy you from you? Why do they need you?
Currently, what they're looking for is, in some cases, the fraud is actually one of the things, like trying to prevent chargeback in e-commerce,
Okay,
and that's one of the things that they are exposing as relevant. And on other sides, like the way to get like cheaper fares and actually guarantee cheaper costs for them to do the transaction, it's something that is also relevant, because we use alternative payment methods and cash a way to have payment through cash using cash as wallets, digital wallets. That's something that it's relevant for them. I think those are the 2 points for this kind of customers.
okay.
Yeah. So our actual pain is that, that we are not having like a ideal customer profile yet that can help us and that can boost, our growth. That's actually something that we are trying to figure out now, because by supporting the long tail of business, we are not like seeing that we have like as many transactions as we could have. The level or the amount of sales or per monthly transactions per business is not becoming relevant for us. And we're also having like because we are transactional, our cost is transactional. If we don't have like big business, doing the transaction is hard for us to do or have a way to grow faster. That's actually something that we are figuring out.
We will. That's a different topic, but maybe we can talk on, offline.
Yeah.
Okay, that was very helpful also. Leo, next.
Yeah. Last, Alberto Arauz from Publifier.
Hi, everyone. Well, our sales process has 8 steps. It's a long process, but it takes some coordination, with our sales team. The first is scouting. We scout the agencies or brands that are currently on the influencer marketing market, and then we have several steps until we have a campaign live in our platform. The process can take up to 3 months in the worst case scenario. There are a couple of companies and agencies that takes quicker time to set up a campaign. It's easy. What is the pain that we solve for these brands and agencies? It's a headache. It gives them headache to deal with influencers, and by working with us, we ease up the administrative work, the conversation, and having to deal with influencers on delivering a campaign through us. So that's pretty much how we work and how we have set up this process. There is a long process that takes 8 steps, and of course there is a shorter version that when we have a client that is hooked and wants to work, the funnel lowers down to 1 or 2 steps.
Okay. So just one quick question. That's very helpful. They have headaches to dealing with the influencers. Just give me an example. What do you mean by that?
Okay, dealing with influencers for a brand, it would mean that they will have to try to reach them through Instagram, through their phone, via their agent. And in working on a campaign, let's say $2,000, they will have to work with maybe 10 or 15 influencers, and each of them is like giving a cold mail to someone and never get an answer. So by dealing with us, we are let's say a medium or an agent that helps them work with 150 or 20 much easier, and they don't have to deal with that communication. Let's say that first contact. Then when they have contact them, let's say when they want to set up a campaign or work a campaign, they will see how much they would charge for a post or story and such. So it's a negotiation process. We already have that with our users, with our influencers. And once all these two steps have been set up or agreed with them, they would have to wait for them to post their content on their social media, and afterwards that could take some time as well. And afterwards, give them the statistics or the performance that this content has performed. So all these steps could be a real headache for an agency or a brand trying to work with influencers. So working with us, we do all that with our technology via our platform, and that will ease up the workload for the client.
Okay, fantastic. All right, Leo, you ready for me to take over the course, or do you have anything else to say?
Nope, that's it. I mean, I think that you have all the keys to know how to play. So again, thanks again for your time, Jeremy, and the space is all yours.
Okay, fantastic. Hi, Fernando, by the way. I see you there. So before I was at Techstars for just over 4 years, I was working as a sales trainer, and what I did was I helped mostly startups, but all kinds of companies scale, grow their sales teams, build strategies, prospect, and things like that. So I have kind of a formal structure today, and I know we'll have some other times where we'll have more ask me anything questions, but I do want people to feel they can, raise their hand on the screen and ask questions. Now, I did this for a long time, and I have a very untraditional approach. So what I mean by that is I'm going to challenge every belief you have about selling. Now, what I need you to do is, if you don't feel it makes sense, or you might be saying, oh, that's not going to work here in LATAM, or, oh, that's not the culture of our, of the type of companies we sell. I need you to call me out. And does everybody know the word bullshit? Yeah, just say, hey, bullshit, Jeremy, let's talk about it, okay? Can anybody not say that? Okay, that means everybody can. Good. Okay, so because I need to, if I have to, talk about why I think it'll work, okay? So don't trust me yet, but I'm pretty firm about my strategy. And again, my goal is to make you think differently today, not to say you have to do it or anything like that, okay? So, Leo, we sent out a workbook. I wanted to make sure everybody has a copy in front of them.
I haven't sent it over. I thought that we were going to present it here, but
Okay,
I
no
can
problem.
send it over right now.
If you can send it over, that'd be great. In the meantime, I will put it on my screen here. And so this is going to be workshop style. And if people want to take notes, that'll be great. And we're going to start on page 19. So hopefully, let me know when everybody is ready to go.
1 minute.
And anybody, you can, if you have access to a printer, you can print it out. Otherwise, I believe this is a Word document. You could probably type in your own answers. Everybody can see this on my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I asked everybody a question. What do you think pain is? So what I want to do today is talk about drivers and motivators of why people buy. I'm not going to go into the whole psychological side of it, although we'll touch some of it. But I want to talk about this pain as being a step in your sales process, a step that you have to methodically go through to understand why somebody will buy from you. So we're going to talk about pain, and after we talk about pain, what I really hope we can leave, and I've got a lot of material, so I don't know, I'm not going to rush, so I'm not going to rush through it, but my goal is that we're going to focus on questioning strategies, because I learned it's the questions that make the difference. And I want everybody to leave with pain questions that they should be asking their prospective clients, okay? So I'm going to go through this worksheet, and we're going to have a lot of discussion, and I'll give you my thoughts on it, and you're going to challenge me. So I have a question at the beginning there, at the very top, and I think it's an interesting one. And everybody just, we'll go through and get some opinions. Do you think people take more risks to avoid loss or to achieve gain? And let's put this in the context of why would this question be important for selling? Because you need to sell to one or the other, and we need to know which is a bigger motivator. Does that make sense? Okay, so everybody sort of give me your thoughts. Let's go through the list here. Ronnie, you're up on the top end of things. What do you think?
I think,
Achieve gain.
yeah, losses. I think people are more afraid of losses than
Okay, good.
gains.
Charlie. 50-50 chance on this question.
Gain.
Gain, okay. Let's see, I
It's a
see
driver motivator.
Lorena.
Sorry, I was on mute. I think, I'm not sure.
Okay, no problem. So let's see, who's next here? Well, Alex, you're with One Trip. What do you think?
I think that people definitely feel the pain of loss more than the joy of gain.
Yeah,
Probably
okay.
more risk averse.
Interesting, okay. Who's here? Alberto?
I will go with Lorena, 50-50, but if I had to choose one, I prefer take more risk to achieve gain.
Okay, interesting.
But I think that it depends on the person if you are more risk averse or if you are more looking to succeed. It depends on the personality or your audience or the person you are trying to sell your product to.
Okay. Interesting. Good answer. Andres.
Yes, we definitely think with Ronnie the risk for losses.
Okay, good. Gabriela, I see you're next.
Gabi. No, she's somewhere else, I think.
Gabriela, no, there she is. Gain or loss?
I'm here. Jeremy?
Yeah, so the question was, do people take more risks to avoid loss or to achieve gain in a selling context?
Achieve a gain. People take more risk about losses or to achieve a gain. I don't.
No opinion. Okay. Jesus.
Yeah, I think it depends of the person, right? But mainly, I think people take more risk to avoid losses.
So loss. Okay.
Loss. Yeah.
Herman.
Yeah, definitely. I think avoid losses.
Okay. Benjamin.
I will say that people take more risk by trying to gain more. I guess like they're willing to invest more if they really think or go in a different ways if they think that they're gonna gain. However, like I think when you try to avoid losses, you always try to figure something out. I don't know. That's why like you get more risky, or at least in my case, I do go or take more risk if I think that I'm gonna gain something.
Okay. And Fernando.
I think people quantify losses as greater than gains. I think they'll take risks to avoid a loss.
Okay. So great answers. I think, I don't know, Leo, what do you think? That was about 50-50 on the responses there?
Yeah, I think that there's more in the loss side than in the gain side.
Okay, I'm a firm believer that people take more risk to avoid losses than gains. So what our goal is to determine what are those losses, what are those pains that they want to avoid. So that's going to be my focus here. So in the middle of the page, right about here, if you can see the cursor, let's talk about pain. So, right above that, I think that people will do much more to avoid loss than gain. So, and we can always talk about that psychologically later. My definition is, pain is an emotional, compelling reason to act or change. So I'll read it again. Emotional. It's words underlined. Emotional. People buy emotionally, and avoiding losses is much more emotional than trying to get gain, to achieve gain. It's a compelling reason to act or change. So think about this statement. The pain of changing has to be greater than the pain of staying the same. Does that make sense? What is that? Alberto, what would that mean to you? The pain of staying the same. The pain of change has to be greater than the pain of staying the same, because staying the same is always an option.
Well, in my opinion, I said that more people are take more risk when achieving gain. I certainly think that losses and that pain makes you move in different direction. And I'm a person that never likes to stay at the status quo, always looking for a new challenge. But in trying to build on that idea, when you tell a client that you can't get a loss in your business, or you're losing something, it could trigger some feelings that maybe talking about the gain will not do. But I don't know. I have mixed feelings right now.
Mixed feelings. Okay, tell me why.
Because I'm more. I think that I am more a positive person, and I see more joy, or it makes me move towards a bigger goal. Let's say more achieve a gain. Let's say in the affiliate marketing, there's a $40 billion industry. I rather go and get some of that cake than looking in the maybe in a pessimistic way, trying to, if you don't work with influencers, you will lose something, and that bring also in my day-to-day life. I rather look more in the opportunities rather than the losses that taking more risk would entail.
That's That's interesting that you mentioned that, Alberto, because I would have thought that the people that are more willing to buy from you are the ones who who are already convinced that they want to work with influencers, but they feel the pain of doing so. And it's in your pitch, and it's what you just described to Jeremy before. It's the actual pain of not being able to do it in a simple way that's the driver for them to adopt your solution. Instead of trying to convince them that they should be working with influencers, that seems like that's a losing proposition. If they don't want to work with influencers, your solution is not solving anything.
Yeah, that's maybe what I was saying. I have mixed feelings, but yes, like, and I think you're completely right. But when I try to sell also the solution, talking about that pain, but I also try to tell them, like, if you work with us, having solved that pain, look at all the opportunity that we can grab for your company or for your brand. But yes, that's maybe my mixed feelings, but you're convincing me moving to the dark side.
Well, okay, Fernando, go ahead. I don't want to call it the dark side, but let's talk about. Did
To the
want
other side. To the other side. Sorry.
I just wanted you to restate about the pain being greater. Like I was confused a little bit about your wording.
Sorry,
there.
the pain of staying the same has to be greater than the pain of change. So.
Okay, so
I
that
won't
then it
change
becomes the motivator to change.
Yes.
When the pain is too much. Okay, now I got it. All right.
If the status quo is painful, that's going to see, if it's not painful to change, they're not going to do it. If there's not enough pain.
Right.
So
inertia.
if the pain is of staying the same, it has to be greater than the pain of change.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I have to find out, is staying the same. Okay. So let me talk a little sales theory here for a second. The pain is potentially the pain of the future, right? Not doing something, not changing, not doing this, right? But I want people to understand this. This is a very important psychological component of selling. They could have pain in the past, which we're going to talk about on a sales call. I always talk about on a sales call. They have potential pain in the future, especially if they don't change, which I'll try to talk about and quantify both sides. But I want everybody to understand that on a sales call, we're going to talk about pain in the past, pain in the future. We're going to try and qualify it. But this is the important thing. People always, always, always buy in the present. So I can talk about the futures, I can talk about the past, but when I'm ready to close the deal, I got to bring them to the present. Now, it doesn't mean much now, but I want you to put that in the back of your mind. That's where people buy. So I'll talk about the past, the future, and the present. Always. All right. Anybody else have some other comments on this idea of what we're going to sell to loss and to pain and to avoid losses. But that was a very interesting thought, Alberto. Anybody else want to say any comments on that? Any thoughts? Anyone want to challenge? I'll take that as a no. And we're going to move forward. So I'm going to ask us to go up to.
Germán just raised the hand.
Sorry, I didn't see it. I don't have the whole screen. Okay.
He wants to challenge, so Germán.
Okay, challenge accepted.
Yeah, I raised my hand several times because.
Oh, sorry, I missed you. Don't. Okay, I feel bad.
Don't worry, Jeremy. Yeah, I think always on sales to avoid losses. In our case, I think that we are also competing with other, like we are after the marketing budget, and we are also competing with other channels like traditional, like newspaper, TV, or traditional media, Facebook, or Google. And that's why we need we need to show them results, so that's the only way that they are gonna change to work with us. And to allocate more budget on the influencer marketing, because at the end, what we are also competing with other marketing channels, let's say like that, like, or marketing strategy, like newspaper, TV, and
Okay.
we also need.
Can I
Yeah,
challenge you?
yeah.
Okay, let's role play for a second here.
Okay, hi.
Hi, hey, Benjamin. Thanks for coming in. I really appreciate meeting you. I'd like to learn a little bit more about your what you do. Before we do that, I mean, I sort of have an idea of what you do, but maybe you can tell me, why should I buy from you?
Because we have, with our technology, you can track and optimize your influencer marketing campaigns, and it's gonna be more effective than traditional media like TV or newspaper, because you are able to track the results of your marketing campaign in of your influencer campaigns on real time.
You know, that's interesting, but a lot of people tell me that. I just, yeah, but what makes you different? I'm not sure why, you know, sounds interesting, but a lot of people have technology and can track numbers and things like that. I'm still not sure what makes you different.
So the difference is that we have a platform where we have 4,000 right now there are 5,000 influencers registered in our platform, and we have a reach of Ecuador of the whole 10 million people of the Ecuadorian population.
Okay, let's stop there. I could do more questions, but let me ask everybody, was there anything emotionally compelling to that? I'm going to sell the pain. I have to remember the definition, emotional compelling reason to change. What did you hear? What did anybody hear there that might want you to say, hey, this is different? This is, did anybody, I'm just curious, what does anybody think?
I think the pain, I want to say something. I think the pain is more when the client is already working with influencer marketing.
Okay. We'll come back to that. Carmen has her hand up. Go ahead, Carmen.
Yeah, I would just say that Germán started off with, this is what we do, instead of maybe making the potential client realize that he has this huge pain that he hasn't realized yet, or that he hasn't put into words yet. Or maybe I would have started with a question. Let me ask you a question about how you're dealing with your influencer marketing campaigns, or not shoving the solution down their throat, but because that's not emotional.
Okay, good point. I like that. Anybody else?
I was leaning a little bit towards what Carmen said. If I would have had to role play, the first thing I would have said is, Jeremy, have you ever had to deal with influencer marketing?
That's true.
What were your problems when you were doing that? Why did you spend so much time if you could actually do it a better way? So I would have expected you to give me the keys of what are your problems in a question before actually talking about what I can actually do for you, because you would have told me, yes, I have a big problem. it is messy. I spend hours a day just managing influencers and stuff like that. That would have been my approach.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Any more comments? So let me deal with this for a second. When in that little small role play, I was a prospect. Who had control of the meeting just then? Of the interaction?
You did.
Okay.
You did, Jeremy.
So let's do this for 1 second. And hey, Leo, Fernando, if this isn't relevant, we can move on, but just you guys have control over that part. Carmen too. If I ask you that question, what makes you different? How do we deal with that? Because right away, you're going to give up control. How would you take back control?
Asking questions?
Okay. So who said that?
Ronnie.
Ronnie. Okay, Ronnie. Nice to meet you. How are you doing? Thanks for
Doing
coming
well.
over today. Thanks for setting this up. What makes you different?
Well, you're in charge of your service operation. How do you feel when one of your customers experiences downtime?
Okay. Well, what do you guys think? Any feedback? Come on.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
I
who-
think that, Lorena,
Okay, great.
I think that is a good approach to also ask questions. But in this case, I think that Ronald went directly to the problem. The client was asking what makes you different, and he answered addressing the problem directly. Maybe first you have to ask some questions to make the client feel comfortable.
So what would that be? Give me a couple questions that are your favorite comfort questions.
Well, it's always hard, that question, what makes you different, I think. But maybe you can ask the client if he has talked with other companies like mine, if he knows, if he has any experience with a company that offers something similar to my product.
Let's do it. What makes you different?
Okay, before answering that question, I would like to understand if you have worked before with a company that helps you to understand your clients or to
Yes.
clean your data.
Yes.
And how was that experience for you?
Just okay.
Why? Why it wasn't good?
Okay, I got to stop one thing. I like the follow-up question, and this is in the materials. To the extent that you can, you only, the why question comes later. Try to make all your questions how and what. So go back and ask me, and you'll see the difference why there's an important difference. So go back and ask me that question, not a why question. Ask me a how or what question.
Instead of the why it wasn't good?
Yeah, ask me a how or what question.
Okay,
How come it wasn't good?
Okay, how come it wasn't good?
Okay, now this is very subtle. It's in English, of course. What's the difference between how come it wasn't good and why wasn't it good?
Maybe I'm not sure, but maybe why is more direct, maybe, and how come wants to push you to give more information, more.
Yeah,
more
exactly. Why is going to say because it just wasn't good. How come forces an answer, and I can almost say after they say how come it wasn't good, I can say, can you give me an example? How come it wasn't good? Why wasn't it good? Was we just didn't have this right alignment or something. So that was good. That was a great response. I just wanted to, I'm probably throwing too much information at you, but how or what questions? You have to, if you're going to work with me, you're gonna go crazy creating how and what questions. Okay. Good. That was good. I saw somebody else's hand up. Who else had a hand up? Anybody else? That was excellent. I like that. I like that you changed the dynamic and you took control. Did somebody else have a question? Have their hand up? No? Okay. How about this? How do you, I'm just curious how people might react to this. Leo, ask me what makes me different.
Hi, Jeremy. So what makes you different?
Oh, by the way, I want everybody to watch my body language, listen to my words, everything, okay? So go again. Sorry, ask again.
Hi, Jeremy. Pleasure meeting you. So first of all, let me know what makes you different.
You know, Leo, appreciate you taking the call, but I might not be different. But I'm wondering, could I ask you some questions? I'm going to stop there. Somebody, Hermel, what were your observations of me doing this?
You were like,
What did you hear me say? What did you see in body language?
what I see is how I felt. It was like, okay, you're not trying to sell me something.
Okay, and I did exaggerate a few things here, but okay, good. Let's see, anybody else? Who else? Let me go. How about?
There's a couple of raised hands.
Oh, okay, let me go
Andres
through the
first.
screen here. I don't see the raised hands. How come I don't? Who's first? Who? Leo?
Yeah, Andres raised this first.
Oh, I see it. Okay. Andres, go ahead, please.
Yes, I saw like lack of confidence from your side.
How'd that make you feel?
Yeah, a lot of uncertainties. I don't know if you're trying to sell me something or what are you doing?
What? Okay, good. Excellent. I'm going to come back to that. Alberto.
Well, I like the way you made maybe this was a sales pitch or you're trying to sell something, but when you calm down, when you relax and you lower your tone of voice, in my opinion, I'm now curious about what you're going to tell me, what's going on with you, and maybe take it more on a personal level by asking some questions. Maybe it's not gonna feel like you're selling, but at the end, I know you're gonna be trying to sell me something, but taking it more like in a relaxed way, on a personal way, maybe it could feel more that you're actually talking to that pain that we talked at the beginning. Just a thought.
I agree. And by the way, I'm a heat-seeking missile for pain. I'm going to find it. I will find that pain like a heat-seeking missile. I'm telling you. Okay, physically, what did you notice about my physicality?
Benji.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, I see him now. Okay.
Sorry.
Benji, go.
Yes. No. So, well, basically, actually, I just had an observation from the previous question, and I just wanted to point it out because the thing is that how you answered the question, it really threw me off. So it got me, it completely got me with my guard completely down. So I was expecting something and you delivered something else. So that's why I'm still trying to find out if I like it or if I don't. So that's why I like it completely threw me off. And that, I would say also that happened with your body language, because like somehow it kind of like was more like, I would say, like you were confident, and that's why you didn't put that much effort, and you didn't like that, like it, because you were so confident. You completely like diverted the question and set up a different mood. And with you also emphasize it with your body language, because like you were like more relaxing, or like maybe asking like if it or replying as it was like a too much of a heavy question. And that's why like it helped you to set a different tone of the question and of the conversation, letting my guard down, and also like completely having like all my defenses off, and like just shut everything down.
Great. That was one of my intentions. I took a deep breath. So getting back to that, I said, and you can do different variations, and you put it in words that make you most comfortable. You know, what if I'm not different? It's kind of like, can we take some time to find out if I'm different? And then I can ask a good question. So I feel when I do that, I take back control of the conversation, because let's face it. A sales call is bottom line. It's my mother versus your mother. That's it. It's what you've been taught, what they've been taught, right? Does that sound funny? Fernando, what do you think of that?
Your mother versus my mother?
Yeah, that's what it is. So
It's gonna. Yeah, go ahead.
we all bring what I call head trash, right? So when you're little, I'm sure your parents, as mine did, don't talk with strangers, right? Well, you're in sales now. What do you have to do all the time? Talk with strangers. Yeah. So it's a psychological condition that we have. So in my view, what I'm trying to accomplish is take back control, because it's not a level playing field. And the prospect wants to control the sales meeting, and so do I. So I can subtly control the sales meeting by saying, what if it's, I don't know if I'm different. I'm not sure. We got to have a conversation to find out. If I'm not, I'll tell you. And, we can end the call in 10 minutes, but if I can ask some questions, I think you might see the difference. So I don't want you to go into your pitch right away. I want you to remember to slow down, and we're going to create these questions. I got a whole list of them here for you. Okay. All right. So anybody else, Leo, is there any last comments? So I feel I
think we're good to go.
Okay, move on. All right, so what I'd like to do is work on defining loss and pain around loss. Is that okay with everybody? Okay.
Yep.
Yes? No? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so I don't know which page it is. It looks like my page numbers are different from what I put up. Page 23 or 24, sorry about that. So in order to determine the triggers, the emotional triggers that people will buy for avoiding loss, I want to do an exercise here that will build toward a elevator pitch, 30-second commercial pitch focused on pain. And this will help us then define what are the questions we need to ask to, let me see, I'm looking for a list here, to get down to those levels of pain that, in there's 3 levels of pain, surface, business, and personal, and we have to find the personal pain. So if you see on this page, I have things listed here: feature, benefit, the opposite of not having that, what do you think is the real impact? And then an emotional word. So I'm emotional, negative emotional words, negative emotional words. So actually, I just scrolled up a couple pages here. And if everybody can find this chart, and maybe you have a piece of paper handy or you printed it out, I'm going to go and ask everybody for just the column on the left. We're going to fill it in with negative emotional words, okay? Because these are the triggers to creating change and finding that they need to change, okay? So I'll give you, I'm going to go ask everybody, think of words, English, Spanish, I don't care. So an emotional word that's not positive, but more negative focused. Dark side, somebody said. Frustrated. Are you frustrated by not being able to reach influencers, for example? So let's go down here. I'm going to go list a list. Menji, give me an negative emotional word. I'm going to fill it out on my chart here.
I would say,
Yeah, go ahead.
Anxious.
Anxious, beautiful.
Yeah.
Do your clients seem anxious about things?
Uh-huh.
Give me an example. What would one thing they'd be anxious about?
You could be, so if we're like talking about Publifier, do you feel anxious when you're dealing with influencer? Or do you feel anxious that your campaign is going to reach the results that you expect to?
Okay, so what makes you different? Well, I might not be different, but let me ask you a question. Do you ever feel anxious about working with influencers?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Ronnie, you're next. Give me a negative emotional word that your clients might experience.
Yeah, I wrote down fear and uncertainty.
Fear. So I'm going to use fearful, an adjective. So do you ever fear, are you fearful of what?
Of losing a customer because somebody else is offering their service contract in half your price.
So let's go through this. Do you ever feel fearful? And there's a second column because you might lose a customer, which is causing what?
Uncertainty.
Uncertainty. Uncertainty in what?
In terms of revenue generation.
Okay, good. If there's three types of pain, surface, business, and personal. If I were to say, do you ever feel fearful because you will lose customers, which is causing uncertainty in revenue? What level of pain does that fit? Surface, business, or personal?
Business.
Okay. I'm going to challenge you here. Did you ever feel fearful because you will lose a customer due to uncertain revenue, which is causing what? Personally.
Causing instability in your job at this company.
Okay. Now let me ask you, how did all of you react to that? Leo, I saw your hand go up.
It goes to the thing that matters him the most. His stability, his work stability.
Okay, Fernando, thought? By the way, that was beautiful. I loved it.
I perked up all of a sudden.
Say that again.
You know, I perked up all of a sudden.
Oh, you perked up. Okay.
Like, okay, yeah, you're gonna lose revenue. That sucks. Okay, yeah, you're gonna do this or that. You might lose your job because of this. Like, oh, wait a second. It all of a sudden becomes tangible, very personal.
Alberto, I need your opinion on that. Too dark? Too obscuro?
No, I agree with Fernando, and it sounded like a good sales pitch until it got into my gut. It make me
How do people
feel
buy?
that.
They buy emotionally. How do people buy? They buy emotionally.
Yes, and when they feel the pain, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I need from you, Alberto, negative emotional word.
Frustration.
Frustration. Okay, so let's do this. Do you ever feel frustrated because?
Have you ever felt frustration because you had an influencer working with you and you were not able to send the report to your boss
Okay,
because you didn't have the data, the influencer never answered,
okay,
and
good. Which is causing what?
which is I'm gonna steal Ronnie's sales pitch, which is causing you to have the possibility of losing your well, I'm not gonna repeat that, but which is causing you which is causing you harm in your relationship with your boss.
Ooh. Yeah. That's
Because
pretty-
you don't know what else to answer to your boss, which is causing you friction in your
Excellent.
relationship.
How does that make everybody? Wow. My reaction to that is great question. Now, then they might say something and you can say, tell me more. Or can you give me an example?
Yeah, I love when I said something similar. I know now the structure. I said this similar to my clients, and I answer, I agree. Like, that situation happened to me also when I was working with influencers, and they're like, yes, and blah 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 blah, and then, but what are you doing with Publifier? Yes, let me tell you a little bit. So I found common ground on the sales pitch, and that's what I say also to my team. Try to find that pain, that frustration, but try also to find that common ground that puts you on the same level or the same problem with them, and when you're in a meeting and the 29 minutes of that 30-minute meeting don't sell, and at the last minute you do the pitch, they will buy your product. That's, in my opinion, a very effective way to make that sale count.
Yeah, I'm going to ask everybody to do an exercise in a second, but I have to follow-up question. By the way, what have you been noticing about how I'm teaching this? Everybody. All right, let me ask my follow-up question. And I want you to listen to my words very carefully. That's interesting, Alberto. Common ground. Help me out here. Please help me. What do you mean by common ground?
Do I have to answer the question?
Yes.
How do I feel about you talking like
What do you mean by common ground? Finding common ground. I'm confused a little bit. Help me out.
I'm glad you asked, Jeremy, because finding common ground with a person you're trying to sell a product may be very difficult. Have you experienced that too?
No, I'm still confused. How would you define common ground?
Maybe a good exercise. Well, it's very hard to find common ground because your client may not be may not be familiar to your team may not be familiar to that. So
Stop there.
it's a
Stop there.
okay.
Great. Good. I'm not here to make you frustrated.
Don't worry.
What I need you to do, because I'm conscious of time, because I want to spend the last 10 minutes, everybody write a line out. What did you observe, Menji? What did you observe on my response and my words? What did I
What
say?
do I observe?
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel on the spot a little bit nervous and anxious. What do I feel on your response in general? I don't know.
Okay, no problem. Who else is there? Let me look down here. Herman?
Yes. Like you,
A lot of people are.
you made a statement.
No, I didn't. I asked the question.
You don't answer the question.
Well, I asked the question back, but I asked the question. All right, let me see other observations. Gabriela, where did you oh, here you are. Are you there, Gabriela? I'm conscious of time. Lorena, did anybody hear my words? What did I ask?
The exact words or the meaning of what you asked?
Well, did anybody remember the exact words that I asked?
The exact words, I don't remember exactly.
Okay.
But I think you were trying to understand deeply the definition Alberto gave us.
Okay. All right, so I'll repeat it. I said, oh, I don't know. Jesus, what did you feel?
I feel like you're not feeling confident. Just you are asking questions just to learn more about the words that we are using. But yeah, you are, I think, what is that word?
So I know it's all in English,
sorry. Okay, sorry.
but so I said, help me out.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused. What do you mean by common ground? So is that a confident statement, a not confident statement? What kind of help me out? I'm confused. What's your psychological response to that? It should be you want to rescue me.
Yeah.
Who's in control? What's our human nature? Our human nature is to rescue. Okay, here's what I want everybody to do. You got 10 minutes. If I haven't called on you, I want everybody to take an emotional word on their paper, fill out because, which is causing, and make it personal. Okay? Everybody's got 3 minutes to write it out.
Jeremy, can you repeat what you just mentioned? What's
Okay, I want you to
exactly
write
that,
an emotional
please?
word as it relates to your customer. Are they anxious, fearful, frustrated, nervous, overwhelmed, concerned, distrustful, just something as it might relate to their world. So are you fearful? Do you feel fearful because you will lose a customer due to uncertain revenue, which will impact your relation with your boss or increase the friction? So that's a combination of them. So I need everybody to come up with something really quickly. And just raise your hand when you're done so I can see and we can go through really fast. We'll just hear the answers. I'm not going to dissect them because I want some feedback at the end. Okay, just put your hand up when you're done so I get a sense of everybody. Okay. Let's go really fast here. Who has not done it? Charlie, you haven't done it, have you?
The words or the
I
statement?
want you to run through the exercise. Emotional
Yeah.
word, because, which is causing.
Yeah. So emotional word upset essentially is, do you feel upset because the e-commerce your e-commerce is not performing well and you might lose your investment?
More emotional. I
Um,
guess lose your investment is pretty good. We'll leave it at that. Excellent. Let's go next. Ronnie, we did you. Mountain, did we do one for you?
No, but I can do it now.
Let's do it.
Are you frustrated because you're spending too much time managing your influencer campaigns, which is causing you low performance in your job?
Excellent. Love it. And by the way, there should be 3 or 4 different ones. Okay. Benji. Go ahead, do yours.
So I wanted to go with anxious because that was my word. So I was like,
Perfect.
down. Have you ever felt anxious because you didn't know how you were going to show to your superiors the results of your efforts dealing with influencers?
Nice. Excellent. Gabriella.
I don't think she's participating, Gabi.
Okay, no problem. She's
There she
listening.
is.
Okay.
Yeah.
She is now? You're in? Okay. I missed Lorena. I think you're there someplace.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, Lorena.
Are you overwhelmed because you have a lot of pressure to increase your customers' ROI, which is causing you a lot of work to get that information?
Ooh, and don't get to spend time with your family or something either, right? Okay. Jesus.
Okay.
And then
Yeah. Are you feel fearful to lose the opportunity to innovate because you can differentiate from your competition? Sorry, I didn't formulate
okay, I
the right
need
way.
an emotional component at the end, but that's fine.
Okay.
I want to do a wrap up here. Who was that? That was it. Andres. What do you have for us?
Yeah, the emotional word will be anguish. Have you ever felt anguish because a lot of competition and lack of differentiation, ending in hard times and too many delays in closing contracts for device maintenance, which is causing you to be obsolete and not worthless for your company?
Wow, very powerful. I love it. Love it. Okay. Let's stop here. I need some feedback from everybody. I would like everybody to answer this question. What's one thing that you learned and you can take away? How was the pace? Too fast, too slow? Was the level too hard, too easy? I mean, I just want you to give me some quick feedback. This is the first time we did this. And hopefully maybe you'll invite me back. I don't know. I'm fearful of that, of course. But what kind of things you might have observed? So let's start with Benji. Just really fast. We only have 4 minutes. So
no, I like it, and I like it in this workshop mode because it got me into asking all these questions. Normally, because I'm the CTO, I never take so seriously how to sell, and this gives me a very good feedback because I'm really learning that I have to go more of an emotional if I want to sell something and escalate and emphasize all the results that I'm doing, all the efforts that I'm doing, that we are doing.
Okay, excellent. Andreas, what's one thing you could do differently or take away from this?
Yeah, also as a CTO, I will try more to see the solution to the end user from the emotional part. I think that it's very valuable.
Excellent, good. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm also the CTO.
Sorry about that, everybody.
We are not involved a lot in or enough in sales, but yeah, we can add emotional words even with the team, right?
Yes.
And yeah, that's very important. That's the hack that I take today.
Okay, I'm just going by order here. Lorena, you're next. I see you. Take away. What did you learn?
Okay.
What could you do
Yeah, I think that
How was
one
it?
of the most important things that I can take away from this workshop is that we have to remember that every sales process is related to emotions. So it's very important to understand and to identify those emotional words that can help us to connect with our customers. And also it was awesome to share this with the different startups. It was a great exercise. I
Thank
really
you.
enjoy it.
Thank you. Charlie.
This time my takeaway is that at the end of the day, you are selling to a person, to a real person. You know, it's a sale to someone that is having their own needs and requirements, and you know, emotions are like the key here. And actually, you gave me like more insight within like avoiding losses is more powerful, and those pains are powerful at the personal level and at the business level. But so just connecting with that at the personal might help out to, you know, to take to the business level. And I like a lot the quote about the pain of staying the same has to be greater than the pain of change. And that's
Great.
like the
Thank
key
you.
takeaway.
Alberto.
Hi, Jeremy. Thank you. What would I do different? I really enjoy this workshop, having the opportunity to share our pitch in this way with our colleagues here in Trip, and having that emotion be touched by you and by what we did. I think that's very very, for me, it was a successful morning by having this investing this time with you and with all the guys. What would I do different? Maybe prepare a little more what we actually do and compare it with what you have taught us, or what was in the script, in this manuscript that you have shared. Maybe I would do that different. And what I take from this is, you gave us these 30 pages of your work, and that's going to be very helpful for our future sales meetings.
Okay, thank you. Muchas gracias. Okay, really fast. Who did I miss? Benji, did we get you? And Ronnie, I see. But Benji, take away.
No, I started. Germán was the one that.
Sorry, Ronnie. Sorry, Ronnie, you're next.
I love the concept of the pain being surface, business, and personal. Having to drill down and being able to get down to the personal level, that's where it really clicks. I really like the format. I think the hour and a half is really short. We could spend here 3 or 4 hours with you. It's incredibly helpful because we're doing this every day, and maybe we're burning opportunities just because we're not doing it the right way or the more impactful way. So
Okay, excellent. So Leo,
really
Fernando, final words, you two, or Carmen also, of course. And then
Yeah,
we'll...
so I'm going to be in representation of everything. I think it was mind-blowing, the fact that in just some simple questions and some role playing, we can actually know what the big difference about being rational about it when it actually is the selling is an emotional process. and how you actually change the format from the rationality to the emotionality and make it personal is something that if everyone that here actually does it, their probability of success will completely change tomorrow. So I found that that was most useful, and I completely agree with Ronnie. It could have been 4 hours and it would have felt like a nutshell, because you really showed us how simple changes make maximum impact.
Okay, great. Fernando, Carmen, you last 2 words. and then we'll let you go.
They actually had to go.
They left me? Oh, so terrible. Okay, mi pleasure. Yo quiero una otra sesión, por favor. Una otro día, ¿es posible?
Sí, por supuesto. Creo que nos va a hacer falta. Entonces, más bien, primero que todo, muchas gracias, Jeremy. O sea, ha sido eye-breaking. Ya tengo más de una persona que me pidió office hours, entonces creo que, bueno, ahí también te voy a pedir eso. Y además, everyone that's here will be in the session that we have scheduled for the BTV talks, just so that we know that that will happen as well.
Bring a challenge for us.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you very much for your time, and hope everyone has enjoyed it as much as I did.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank
Okay.
you, Jeremy.
Mucho gusto.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Jeremy.
Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you, Jeremy.